I'm just gonna redo this video, but yeah. So here are the ground rules. This is a reboot with its own separate universe and continuity. So it does not share anything with Gen 4 or any other previous generations. Episode 1 begins with a mother, Alcorn, telling her daughter to stay down the bunker until she says she can come out. However, her mother never did. So many years pass. Eventually, the Alcorn comes up, only to find that all her friends and family were turned to stone. She then hears an earth pony giving a tour to a bunch of tourists, which we get a bunch of explanation dumps on what happened to the Alcorns. However, the explanation dumps are more used to speculate on theories on what happened, because nobody knows what happened to them. Then a little goat shows up to cause havoc. The earth pony knows the little goat, and that's because they're siblings. Because my earth pony was raised by goats. And she was not happy with him playing hooky at school, and so forced him to go back to school, which led to my Alcorn Golden Knight, and she's the Alcorn of Eclipses. I also like to add the Alcorn's name is Golden Knight, and she's the Alcorn of Eclipses. And another rule I have with this is Alcorns are only powerful when they're in their element. So, for example, an Alcorn of night would only be powerful in the nighttime. So, my Alcorn followed the goat to his school, where none of the inhabitants are actually ponies. They're all non-ponies. Mostly because this is the place where all the ponies kick out the non-ponies. Do note the Alcorns did not approve this behavior, only after they're gone that the non-ponies decided to go fight other ponies for territory and kicking out of other species from their homes. And so Golden Knight has a midlife crisis, even though she is technically a teenager by Alcorn standards. This led her to get manipulated by a dragon who is planned to use her for a nefarious thing. She mostly falls for him because naivety, but also because she wants something to ground herself with. And so episode 1 concludes. And then episode begins with Little Hoof learning about there's an Alcorn in town. However, she doesn't believe it because it's very common in this world for ponies to pretend to be Alcorns. And so decided to go to Golden Knight herself to prove that she is not an Alcorn. This, however, backfires, and so it leads to Little Hoof getting hurt, and Golden Knight feeling incredibly bad about it. However, the dragon, seeing Little Hoof, decided to try to scare her off. This does not work, and got the two running away from the town, which is on top of a mountain, and flying down to the city. And episode 3 is basically just these two getting lost in the city, eventually meeting their third member, that being a unicorn, who is basically just Maud Pie, but if she was a unicorn. However, they have to go to the circus, where they meet Zecora. And so the 3 ponies go to the sketchy circus just to get information from Zecora. Just say what she straight up says. So Zecora knows that the Alcorns were turned by this because of the Corpse Queen, and she knows her location and has a magic map that can help locate her. However, the Corpse Queen's castle changed location. As well, we get some backstories from Zecora. I guess some of you guys might find it lame, but the reason why she got into this sketchy circus is because she used to love the ringleader. However, older with time, she became wiser and saw what he was, a monster. Episode 5 introduced our 4th member, a mermaid pony named Bubbles, who's turned into a freak show. Episode ends with her being free from the cruel ringleader and him dying by the fire. The ponies don't know what caused the fire, but the audience would. A fire-breathing Draconequus. Episode 6 has the ponies go to another town. However, they have to disguise themselves as Pegasuses because they do not allow anything else besides Pegasus. And they meet fifth member, and that just being Derpy. She helps the crew, so they leave the town, and then eventually gets to the Corpse Queen's castle. But that would be on episode 6. Corpse Queen is very powerful, but she's sort of a loser, so think of Ice King if he was a girl. Her backstory is that she cut her heart open, half is because to make herself immortal because she feared death, but also the other half because she never wants to feel love ever again. Since in her own past she has a bad history with friendship, and so wants to close off her heart from saving herself from the heartbreak from terrible relationships. And before someone makes a comment, well, nobody would be that heartbroken over a friendship. You probably never had a friend and never experienced a toxic friendship before. But yeah, the Corpse Queen is sort of like a zombie horse, and she's very tall and intimidating. And even if she has a very loser personality, she's still not a force to be reckoned with. However, this is a turning point where my Alcorn gets turned into a normal pony. This isn't just to do like reversal of what happened to Jen for Twilight. It's mostly a reference, as you guys can tell, of The Last Unicorn. I won't spoil the book or movie, but if you haven't watched or read the book or movie, I recommend doing so. But yeah, our Alcorn becomes a normal pony as a way to protect herself from the Draconequus. Do note, this is a different Draconequus from Discord, and is based on the theory that Draconequuses are embodiments of negative concepts. So for my Draconequus, she embodies rage and hatred. So she ends up spending 4 episodes before the finale in the castle as a normal pony with her friends. She then regained her Alcorn powers during the eclipse and defeated the Draconequus of hatred. However, it wasn't a full defeat because, as the Draconequus pointed out, as anywhere there is love, there will always be hate. And she can't get rid of her because she is part of pony nature. However, it does not matter now. She goes to the Corpse Queen and kills her, not out of like malice, but more to give her a mercy kill and to give all the habitants a happy ending. So for all of them, dying is the best for all of them. Since she defeated the Corpse Queen and the Draconequus of hatred, her people stop being in stone and be free. However, she stays in her normal form. I don't know how much of you guys would like the concept of her staying in her normal pony form, or should she regain her Alcorn form once again as her permanent form. If this video does well, comment on what would you do with your own Gen 6, and what would you change to my script to make it better.